come once again to discuss things.
Fame makes a man think things over. Fame makes him loose, hard to swallow. Fame puts you there when things are hollow. Fame flaps your brain, it's just the flame that burns your change and keep you in.
Alright, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid Part 2, joining me today is Milan Jeffdick 1992 and Steve Baxi. Milan, just to test whether or not you even remember, considering this is your own topic, what are we talking about this week?
No idea.
You picked the topic!
I forgot about it, dude. I'm hungover. Fuck.
Oh. Okay. Would you care to take a guess?
Like, literally no idea. It's just a blank haze.
Okay. Steve, what are we talking about this week?
Unless I'm mistaken, or in a haze as well, we are talking about the idea and the consequences and such of internet fame and what that entails and means and where that even maybe came from.
Fame! Sorry. Does anyone want to be the John Legend to my David Bowie?
Not particularly.
I wanted to be David Bowie, you know?
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Steve can be David Bowie. I could just be the Joker pretending to be David Bowie in Grant Morrison's run.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, Milan kept trying to steer the conversation last week when we were talking about the nostalgia... Milan, mute your mic when you're not talking.
Okay.
When we were talking about the Nostalgia Critic last week, Milan kept trying to steer the conversation over to internet fame or e-celebrities or whatever you want to call them. And the reason I kept pulling him away from that is because it's impossible to talk about just in the context of Doug Walker. Doug Walker is clearly a good example of an internet celebrity, but you have to branch out from that because he isn't a good all-around example. You know, there are a lot of different places and ways to go for that. So I feel like he'll probably come up again a little bit, but we got to talk about other things related to this. Which is why it's a separate video. So who wants to start?
I like to start, since it's my topic.
Go for it.
I don't know, the thing with internet fame is it's just such a fleeting and interesting thing. Because it's kind of, in a way, destroy the classical idea of this celebrity. And I use classical with a grain of salt. I mean, it's just like, the internet and YouTube in general has allowed people to just, well, become, it's so weird. Everyone's a celebrity now. Everyone's special. Everyone can make things that can either, sink or swim. And it's just such a weird new development in, communications and just culture in general. Everyone can say whatever the fuck they want to say, and in certain parts that's beautiful and amazing, but since everyone can say anything they want, like, your message gets, lost in the dim of this just cacophonous howling of internet stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when 1,000 people talk, you don't hear a damn word.
Very philosophical.
It's not really. It's more scientific than anything.
Sorry, I don't know what words mean. Carry on.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's the internet and YouTube has given this very interesting door to fame where you can just honestly hop on no matter what it is you're doing, no matter how stupid or silly or fun or whatever it is. You can just jump on and suddenly everyone in the world is watching. Today, on Fridays at work, we run a segment called Viral Video. And we post a video that's like gotten a lot of hits on YouTube or whatever over the last couple weeks, or the last week or two. Today, we posted this video of a fat hockey fan over in Ohio who is like shaking and twerking and doing the truffle shuffle and dancing during the halftime shows with like a guy in a bear costume. And he like takes off his shirt and he's got like all this shit written on him and you can see his tits shake and everything. and that's got like 7 million views, and there are all these other videos of him that like hadn't been getting very many views, but this one sparked off all those other things getting views. So suddenly now this guy's got a following, and this just happened in a week, and he's got millions of people watching his stuff. You've never had millions of people watch your stuff, listener. You don't even have stuff. But if you do have stuff, perhaps you could get millions of people to watch it if you do the Truffle Shuffle on, live video.
The Truffle Shuffle is a double-edged sword. And it gets you little fame, but that fame slowly descends into ridicule and a sense of disgust from your peers. But yeah, that's the fat man's cross to bear, I guess.
The fat man's burden.
That's true. But anyway, the thing with e-fame is that I've noticed some people who literally, the concept of people trying to actually make a career out of e-fame. I just do the shit that I do because I find it fun and entertaining, and if I manage to get some...
And I bitch about the views constantly.
Well, not anymore. Well, I used to when I was...
Oh, not anymore, except every other week off recording.
Oh, shut up. I totally don't. But that's a different thing. The thing is, I just do it because I put a genuine work in my shit, and I'm sad that nobody gives a fuck. But the thing is with that is, I don't really... Patreon has kind of made that whole e-fame thing into a... everyone's this performer now, and instead of doing it on the street corner, or in a newsroom or something, everyone says, hey... all the bigger channels now, you always get this little, thing, hey, support me on Patreon. There's nothing wrong with Patreon. It's essentially an internet tip jar, and if you want to put stuff in there or not, that's regardless. But it's so weird. People are actually making money out of this thing, this weird, goofy thing called the internet. And it's fascinating to me, and it's easy to get trapped in this thing, with Doug Walker, we talked about him, the Nostalgia Critic. He tried to branch out into other things, but he's kind of, he's stuck doing the Nostalgia Critic. Not to say he doesn't like it, I'm sure he does, but it's just this weird thing of just, if you gotta give the people what they want. And in a way, if you make that your financial income, and if you try to do something different, that audience will abandon you, and thus you'll lose your income. And internet fame is a thing that it's not a stable set of living. It's something to do on the side to your actual career.
I don't know about that, because I think there are people who have made an actual, career that they can continue to do their thing and branch out and do other things on the side from internet fame.
Definitely.
Sean Dawson... I don't know, you're not a fan of him, Milan.
Shane Dawson, I like him. He's Shane Dawson.
He's someone I have a certain amount of respect for because, he's been around since basically the beginning of YouTube. And, like his humor or not, that's not what I'm going to talk about. But, I mean, he got over 1 million subscribers before channels that were owned by Disney did. And so he was able to actually launch an entire career out of it. And, last I heard from him, I think he's on this, Stars reality television show where you're, where two directors are given the same script and make a completely different movie out of it. So that's something interesting that he's up to.
That's interesting. But that's the thing with that. There are, just from statistics alone, you're gonna have people who do genuinely make it into the genuine industry, but it's just there's just so much variety here. You have guys like Bandit Incorporated and Mr. Sunday Movies, guys you don't watch, but who just kind of come out of nowhere and just garner hundreds of thousands of subscribers because they have a hook or they're just genuinely entertaining and nice. Unlike us, we're just a narcissist, a schizophrenic, and a reasonably intelligent individual, all stuck together talking about stuff. Look, we're never...
How dare you call Steve a narcissist?
You can all pick which one's which, but regardless. Yeah.
I'm sure there's some combination of the three.
Yeah. There's the new sign-off. We'll just be brutally honest about ourselves.
Yeah. It's fun.
No, I get that, Milan. It's just, to me, I think that, that internet fame doesn't necessarily have to be temporary. I think like we have this misconception that it is, but that's because very few people have figured out how to brand themselves right. Because so much of internet fame, I think, and I want Steve to follow up on this, I think so much of internet fame comes more from accidents instead of planning. Like, you can tell watching a lot of Doug Walker's early stuff that he was trying to get views, but he wasn't trying to make this, you know, his career. Whereas
Definitely.
if you watch a lot of other stuff that, like, people got quote-unquote famous for, viral videos, you know, all of them try to produce something else, but it never really works. The only person who I think has gotten anywhere close to making a career out of their accidental viral video that was a smash hit was, the girl that became the creepy ex-girlfriend meme.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. The internet kind of tends to mythologize people into memes. It's just like...
Well, no, I mean, like, she made that Justin Bieber video parody, and it's reasonably funny, and honestly, the memes are funnier, but then she continued to play the character and get cameos and other things. Problem is, memes are postmodernist take on phenomenology expressing itself in the world. Steve can back me up on that, so they by definition cannot last. Now, Steve, what is your opinion on internet fame, since you haven't talked much?
You know, I'm starting to have a little trouble defining it separately from just regular fame and regular celebrity status, because really, what's so different about the Nostalgia Critic and the CinemaSins guy and all that from just random actors that get cast in random parts and sometimes make it and sometimes don't?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, I guess...
I think the big difference is just the accessibility to the internet, so anyone can do whatever, but you're not internet famous unless you can build an audience no matter what you do. And so there are only a few good number of people that can do that, the same way there's only a few good number of people in Hollywood that can do that.
I guess that's true.
Really see the difference. I think even in actor side versus internet fame side, it's still reasonably an accident. People go in wanting to be stars on both fronts, and they usually don't make it as well as just people who want to do what they like doing.
Yeah.
I guess that's true. Well, it is, but the thing with that is, it's just there's so much variety. Like, essentially, YouTube has kind of killed TV. The torrents and YouTube has kind of killed, not good TV. The thing is, that type of shit, if you have so much fluff on the internet to distract people, TV has now resorted to actually making quality content. You know? If you it's weird, because, you know, Game of Thrones, Arrow, you know, Flash, you gotta make your shit...
Arrow anymore.
Oh, really? You don't like Arrow?
It's terrible, but...
Really? Oh.
It's bad. I mean, you should watch our reviews of it on Geekvolution. It's so bad.
Plug.
After I watched the 2 seasons, my little brother's just been fucking... Just devouring Arrow. I downloaded him the first 2 seasons, and he just literally spent 3-4 days just watching it all, like, without sleep. And
Well, season 1 is good, and the first half of season 2 is addicting as all hell, and then after that it just completely falls off a cliff.
Really?
Okay, anyway, back to internet fame.
Well,
this is
actually,
not
I think this is a good thing to talk about, because Stephen Amell has been using the fame he gets from Arrow to be almost an internet celebrity, where he posts some memes and does live videos and chats and things like that. He does essentially the YouTube thing now that he's already famous.
It's weird, because I guess it's like... back in the day, you had to have like a publicist or agent to do that, to deal with the fans, quote unquote. But now with the internet, you can just literally open up a snap, like a fucking live show, and say, hey, ask me a fucking question, stroke my ego for a few minutes or an hour, or like, it's the thing. YouTube is full of narcissists, but isn't that just humanity being human?
Well, I mean, anyone that sits in front of a camera and wants to project their opinions to multiple people has some element of narcissism to them, no matter how well-intentioned they are.
That's true. That's true.
I'm not even saying it's a bad thing, but honestly, ego's got to be there if you want to broadcast your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and there's nothing wrong with it. That's just like
a
basic human being. Like, that's the weirdest thing. You have people on the internet who just screw like, oh my god, fucking you sold out, man. Like, yeah, if I could... Like, it's the weirdest thing, this whole Patreon thing. People start freaking the fuck out about Patreon. It's a tip jar, you know? And people start freaking, like, oh, you monetize your videos? Well, fuck, dude, I put, like, 6 hours in this. Like, I better get some kind of financial, you know, backing from this. It's fun, but still, you know? It's a thing. If people can make money off this stuff, you know, God bless it, but the idea that you make this your main source of income, I think, like, you can try it out, but I don't think that's a wise thing to do. It limits you creatively if you really amass a huge audience and you kind of become their monkey to dance, dancing monkey for the audience that you accumulate.
Mm-hmm.
So, words break down.
See, I don't mind Patreon. I don't mind, you know, people advertising in their videos. And I don't mind, you know, the people, trying to, like, sell things in their videos. Like, hey, I made this. It's when it becomes completely intrusive upon the reason you started watching them in the first place.
Very true, very true.
Kip K
Like,
had that in spades.
Who had that?
Kip K, he used to do, well, he still
Oh,
does
no, actually,
gadget videos
that's
and
so
such.
funny. I've been subscribed to Kip K for a very long time. I've never met anyone else who has.
I used to like his stuff a lot, but there was a point where he just started advertising things he wanted you to buy from his website. And it stopped being fun life hacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. No, but, like, I think that
Beware the inner marketing whore.
I think it's unfortunate because getting paid is, you know, something you need to be able to do in order to continue to make videos. Like, you know, you can't just keep making videos and working the same dead-end job forever. You can't put all your money into making the videos and not get paid for them. And honestly, the advertising isn't as much as it needs to be for full-time job. So it becomes this weird thing, and I want to comment, too, on what Steve said earlier, that you're not sure if there's a difference between e-celebrity and regular celebrity. And I think as time goes on, that's becoming more and more the case, but I think initially there was, and the only thing I can think to compare it to is, like, the reverse of what happened with reality show celebrities, if that makes sense.
You mean like the one
because you look at, like, well, no, not that, but, like, you look at the beginning of reality show television, like the first season of The Real World, the contestants on that were actually, you know, for a year or two famous and, like, seen elsewhere, and they're, like, talking about, oh, they're gonna go do this thing with their life now. And then once we started getting so many reality shows, no one gave a fuck about the person after the reality show was over.
Exactly, you know?
Yeah.
And like, so it's kind of the opposite of that. Like, we have so many fucking people getting famous on YouTube and other ways of the internet. Like, let's just say YouTube just for the sake of, like, you know, brevity. You have all these people getting famous from YouTube, and, sorry, getting distracted. You have all these people getting famous on YouTube, and suddenly there's so many, and then they're starting to break through in other mediums as well. And that's what's getting impressive about it. So the celebrity is working the other way, that the reality show celebrities did.
Yeah, and I guess it's kind of working from the ground up, really. You know, like, YouTube is kind of like the nothing place. And then you kind of work yourself up to a place where you can actually get some money, and maybe if you can break into the genuine industry and start making movies, that's amazing. Good for you. But the thing is, like true capitalism, only if you get in. You gotta really keep on your toes. Or just have fun. You know, it's random. It's complete and utter fucking chaos. You know?
Most of the time.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you guys. I thought we would be able to stretch this motherfucker out for longer, but yeah.
No, I think we can still go. There's still more to talk about here. So Steve, I was really disappointed you weren't able to make it to the Nostalgia Critic thing.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, it's cool. But you said something when I talked about when I picked it as the topic, the week before. Said once you get too big. So, like, what do you think the dangers are of getting too big?
Well, we covered a little bit of that, of trying to sell things in your videos, but there's a point, and Linkara has this, Nostalgia Critic has this, even the CinemaSins guy has this, where you make your gimmick and your joke the point of everything. And so the thing that got you, the vehicle you use to discuss things you wanted to talk about, whether it be comic books or films or movie mistakes or whatever, becomes your paycheck. And when you get too big and you realize your audience is watching you no matter what, you start forcing jokes into things where they aren't necessarily there. So you get videos like Linkara making a review of Batman Noel and making fun of and pointing out problems that aren't really problems just for the sake of the joke. And CinemaSins where they tally up sins that aren't really sins just for the sake of a joke.
Yeah, and I mean, sometimes it can be more entertaining than others. I highly doubt anyone takes CinemaSins as serious review. It's really only useful for a quick laugh and to point out that not every movie is like perfect and doesn't have plot holes. Like it's fun to watch CinemaSins for a couple plot holes, but otherwise you're just watching it to make fun of movies.
You guys, the internet is the marketplace for benign fluff.
Sure,
Yeah.
I think that's fair. It's also the marketplace for, porn.
Oh, true, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the 90% of the internet that we don't cover.
Yeah. Every other week, whenever I'd, do build-up to a topic that I was going to pick, and Bill was on the show, every time I'd do build-up, he'd be like, we're going to review porn. I'm like, God, you really want us to review porn, don't you, motherfucker?
Bill... Dude, Bill
yeah,
and...
you didn't realize that? All the time he'd make that same fucking joke that he wanted us to review porn. Like, no!
Dude, me and fucking Bill reviewing porn together, it would be amazing.
Go for it. Do it on his channel.
Bill, if you're listening to this, call me, baby. We'll talk about porn together.
Okay.
It's 24/7. We can have just porn everywhere.
All right, and Steve, you also mentioned that Steve Amell has used his celebrity in what I guess I would call a more traditional sense, television star, to branch out to internet fame. And I think we kind of expect this of a lot of celebrities now, and we find it weird when we're not able to find them online, right?
Well, yes and no.
As much as I hate to admit it.
Well, I mean...
Hold on.
Okay.
I'm about to say something that I'm going to regret forever, and we're going to want a really clear, clean, crisp audio bite out of this. As much as I hate to admit it, this is something Taylor Swift is really good at.
Okay.
What? Porn?
No. No, she's really good at branding herself online and just having a very good online presence.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, bitch is all over Twitter and shit.
Bitch all over Twitter.
She is. That bitch is all over Twitter. Don't get me wrong, she's still a terrible songwriter and musician, and Todd in the Shadows has, blinders on or something, but God, that girl knows social media.
It started out as a feeling, and then it grew into a hope. Blah, 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 blah. I forget the rest of the song.
Okay, please mute. Anyway, Taylor Swift is very good at marketing herself online. That's something we expect from celebrities now, because we have people that we started to become interested in simply because they were good at marketing themselves online. So that I just wanted to throw that into your point about the double-sided nature of this.
I think we have less of that than we ought to, because there are a lot of celebrities right now that are for all intents and purposes, the primes of their career, and whether or not we like them, they are gigantic no matter what they do. Benedict Cumberbatch, Bradley Cooper, Chris Evans, Jennifer Lawrence, actors like that. And they don't actually have an online presence outside of people online talking about them.
Yep. It's crazy that Benedict Cumberbatch doesn't, because he owes, like, all of his career right now to people just being huge fans of Sherlock.
Him and Tom Hiddleston. Everyone loves Tom Hiddleston on the internet. That's part of why every time he's in a movie, it's successful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is Tom Hiddleston the hot... Like, which one is Tom Hiddleston?
Loki.
It's just because he makes the girls' pussies wet with his face.
He's an awesome actor and all, but that seems to be the leading cause of fame, yes.
It's like Cumberbatch and Loki owe their fame to Tumblr.
It's the voice.
What voice?
It's like that clip of Kevin Smith talking about the Twilight trailer at Comic-Con. So Jacob comes up, and he takes off his shirt in the trailer, and I swear you could just feel the room get moist.
Yeah.
No,
Keep your
but,
shirt on, Jacob. No.
It's crazy when someone doesn't, like, someone that's getting that famous doesn't use social media and doesn't increase their digital footprints. That sounds weird to say, but it's so crazy that they don't think to do it.
And then there are celebrities that are quote-unquote dying out, or like celebrities that are past their prime, and they could go any time in the next 10 years, and we would move on, like George Takei and Robert Downey Jr., but they're massively active online.
Mm-hmm.
Don
Takei is awesome.
What was Junior? Tony Jama? Who, Junior what?
Robert Downey Jr.?
He's dying out, but he's Iron Man.
Well, he's like 50-something years old. He's not going to be Iron Man for very much longer. And he's not making very many movies anymore.
See, here's what I don't get about that. Like, not to sidetrack, but fuck it, we're kind of grasping at straws already anyway. So, like, Robert Downey Jr. gets injured in Iron Man 3, which is a major part that makes him say, okay, yeah, this is probably going to be the last Iron Man movie, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to play Iron Man much longer, blah, blah, blah. But the entire, like, thing in that movie was he was not in the suit throughout the majority of the film. Like, that's a lot of people's problem with that film, is that Iron Man is not in the suit.
I think if that's anyone's problem with the film, then they should actually watch the movie.
No, I mean, it's just like people, like, come on, you want to see Iron Man in the suit, come on.
Well, yeah, if you want
that.
to see Iron Man in the suit, watch Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, and the Avengers.
No, but anyway. So, like, is it just me, or does it seem incredibly odd that he would decide to stop doing movies after the one movie where they made him not be in the suit, or not made him, but, you know, where he wasn't in the suit? Because, like, he doesn't have to do the motion capture for the armor, does he? Like, do we really need Robert Downey Jr. to be doing the motion capture scenes with the armor?
Well, it's not. Well, in that movie, it wasn't the armor scene that hit him. It's that he was doing a lot of things out of the suit, so he was running around a lot and had action scenes and things in that movie were out of armor.
That's what I mean. It's like, there's not going to be another movie, likely, unless they decide to write the script that way again, where Tony Stark is doing stuff out of the armor. So, like, why can't he continue to play Tony Stark / Iron Man and just, you know, do the stuff with the art and just, like, do the scenes where he's not in the armor?
Like actually keep
the dialogue.
Yeah, just,
that's all we like anyway.
Yeah,
that's why we love. Yeah. Like, do we really need him to be doing the CG capture for the armor or any of that stuff?
Well, part of it's also that he's looking his age now.
Yeah,
like if you look at him out at the premiere for The Judge and stuff, he's starting to gray and wrinkle and stuff. So even if you had him just do the out of armor stuff, he doesn't look like a guy that can go toe to toe with Chris Evans anymore.
Yeah, well, you know,
but
cocaine
like,
is a hell of a drug. Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
But you watch things like what is it? The third Avengers animated movie, the one that's terrible.
Which one? They're all pretty bad.
Next Avengers or whatever.
Next Avengers, yeah.
Yeah, well, like, you watch that one, and he's, like, really an old man, and you can still believe that he can run around in the armor and still do it. It's harder for him, but that's, you know, he's Iron Man. He'll figure it out.
Well, there's a vast difference between animation and the live-action believability of it, especially if they want this to be a really long-running series of films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what they should do? I'm not replacing him with anyone. It's just have him be in the chair. I mean, it's a fucking exoskeleton. You're not, like, the guy on the inside is not meant to be strong. It's a robot
Well,
suit.
again, it's not that. It's just if you have him out of the suit at any point, he doesn't look as good as he used to.
Well, play that up. Say, fuck, I'm getting old. God damn it,
Then you
Captain
have to
America.
You can't have any more Iron Man in the movies, and they don't want to just get rid of the character. Because then they can't do any... They severely limit the number of stories they can do if they just get rid of a character.
Well, like, here's the other thing, though.
But the thing is, how long do you want the Marvel movies to go on for?
Well, like,
they want them to go on for as long as possible. They want to comic book it and make it so we have reboots and we have reinstallments, but the series keeps going.
All right, let me throw this out real quick, though. Here's the problem with someone ever coming in to replace Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, and what I mean by that is you look at Iron Man and how he was written in the comics and everything before the 2008 film, and there's some consistent elements that are clearly in the movie, but Robert Downey Jr. completely reinvented that character from the ground up.
Yes, he did.
And now every single version of Iron Man is Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal.
Yeah.
So anyone else coming in to do that either has to do a Robert Downey Jr. impression, a la the guy that's playing his dad in the Captain America movie and the Agent Carter show, or reinvent the character, and I don't think anyone's going to be able to do that.
Or go back to what the character was before Downey.
Yeah,
Which, do you really want that?
Well, I mean,
the
it
thing
depends
with
on
that
who you
is-
play him, because if he wasn't cast as Batman, Ben Affleck would have been a perfect comic book Tony Stark.
Really?
Yeah,
How so?
he is literally bottom top Tony Stark from the comics, where he's kind of dry, he's kind of dull, but he's also very self-destructive and has a defense mechanism of humor when he can't admit that. But he's in no near as goofy as Robert Downey Jr.'s.
What about the Warren Ellis's portrayal in what was that story called? It's the good one. That's the one. Extremis. Like
That's essentially Ben Affleck. I mean, that's the classic Tony Stark kind of.
Yeah, well, the thing is, that Tony Stark is a little bit more genuine. Like, hey, what's up? I want to make good for the world. You know, fucking, it's weird. It was like reading that. I'm like, where are the douchebag glasses and the bitches? What's going on?
Well, I mean, Tony Stark's always been the way Warren Ellis wrote him. The only difference is Warren Ellis was more minimal about Tony Stark and doing more with Iron Man in costume.
Yeah, because the thing is, Warren Ellis does this all the time. He's like, hey, Ellis, what do you want to draw? Girls, motorcycles, girls, leather, aliens. And Warren Ellis is like, all right, I'll write a story about that then.
That explains why all of his stories have the exact same plot twist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They do, though. Every time he writes a story and it's a guy and a girl, the girl is always in cahoots with the bad guy and betrays him halfway through the book. It always happens.
Crooked Little Vein. Doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Anyway,
happen. That's the thing. Like,
okay.
Warren Ellis is so weird because it's just like, you know, Crooked Little Vein came out like a while ago, like before this whole, you know, internet thing happened. It's just so weird. These ideas of like, hey, women and
this
stuff.
whole internet thing happened.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to bring this stuff up because either like.
Okay, you know what? How about we get back to the actual topic?
Okay, fine. That's
because we've been off for a while. Sorry, I got us on the Robert Downey Jr. thing, but it was worth mentioning real quick in my mind at least.
Maybe that should have just been the discussion topic. I feel like we had more to say there.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't think so. That was the problem with this. Is like I wasn't sure if it was mini topic or full topic worthy. But internet celebrity and celebrity on the whole, fame. I should learn the lyrics to that song.
No, you shouldn't. You should feel bad for even considering doing that.
I should slap you in the face.
Oh, really? Come on. Come at me, bro. Come at me. Come on. What?
You know, I had this thought the other day that the world would be such a better place if you were just legally allowed, or legally required, rather, to slap someone in the face every time they said something stupid.
Dude, everyone will be slapped all the time because stupid is relative.
Yeah, but I really want to slap this guy at my work, and I don't want to get fired for it.
Oh, tell us about it. Tell us about it. Who is this motherfucker?
He's just a fucking ass, and he's so alright, full disclosure, he's got a learning disability. He's technically speaking retarded. He's still an asshole.
Oh, thank God. Like, I'm so tired of, I have a mental disability. If you're an asshole, you're still an asshole. Yeah, the fact that you're fucked in the head has nothing to do with it.
No, it's nothing to do with, like, his inability to socialize or anything. He knows he's being a jackass. When you come over and tell someone a joke that isn't funny and no one laughs, and then you explain your joke and still no one laughs, 1, you're not funny. 2, you do that 7 times a day? You're an ass!
Sounds like a man after my own heart.
Yeah.
Self-deprecating humor.
Yeah, just goddamn, I want to slap that dude in the face, but there are cameras, and I don't want to get fired. Anyway.
Just leave the room anytime he, starts talking.
I can't. There's only one room. Anyway, so celebrity Steve, dig us out of this hole, please. I got nothing. Dig us out.
Okay, so there seems to be degrees of internet fame. There's the border level of you're popular, you have an audience, anything you upload gets a few thousand views right away, and that's like the Geekvolution level. And then you get the level above that, which is like the Dan's News level of hundreds of thousands, but you're only part of a working cog, a machinery that has a lot more views. And then the top tier would be like Linkara, Nostalgia Critic, Machinima level, millions of people watch you, and you're practically a TV show. And it seems like the higher you get along these tracks, the more and more you have to think corporately. And I think that's part of why I'm so reluctant to call internet fame anything different from regular fame, because that's the way it is everywhere else. Of no matter how good or bad of a person you are, by the time you get to a certain level of fame, you have to think strategically as opposed to quality.
Exactly. That's the thing. This is what I don't understand with young people. Like, this whole idea, like, are you sold out, man? No, I'm making money, motherfucker. I'm making bank. I'm making bitches. Fuck you. The fact that you failed at something doesn't mean I have to fail along with you. You know?
I
wouldn't go that far, but...
Well, no, let me ask I'm just being devil's advocate. Do you think there's a difference between quote-unquote selling out and just trying to be and just trying to make money at what you're doing?
Yes.
Because, like, I feel like people that watch these guys feel betrayed when they start seeing commercials and advertisements and, buy this thing from me. Narimon, Alex Day, he had this a lot. And honestly, it's why I unsubscribed to him. And the fact that his uploads became more and more sporadic. Like, even when he wasn't trying to sell things to people, like, people just assumed he was because he was always, like, talking about something that he was doing. And at the same, like, he started his videos and he would just be a kid in his room talking and saying funny things. And then he did his Twilight videos and they fucking exploded and were hilarious. And then he kept, like, trying to sell things because, as he put it, I made something, I'm proud of it, I want people to know about it, and if they'd like, I'd like them to buy it from me. And, he wrote a book, and he was telling people about this book he wrote, and he was hoping that people would buy it, and blah, blah, blah. And that's fine, but, like, then he'd have, he'd be drinking a Mountain Dew in a video, he'd be drinking a vanilla Coke in a video, and talk about how amazing it is, and people would be like, stop trying to sell us vanilla Coke. He's like, no, you don't understand. We don't have this in Britain. This thing is amazing. I don't care if you don't buy it. Actually, matter of fact, I don't want you to buy it, because then there's more for me to buy and drink when I'm in America.
Yeah.
So, like...
vanilla Coke is amazing, by the way. Buy vanilla Coke.
Oh, it is. It is. Coke. Drink Coke.
Drink Coke. Drink Coke.
Anyway, like, here's this guy who started with just never talking about selling you or anything or advertising or anything like that. He was just doing his thing. He was entertaining. and people liked him for that. And then as the advertisements and the corporate element and just him trying to get his stuff out there creeped into his videos, more and more people just, like, it left a bad taste in their mouth. So, like, I don't think that, like, I think people misnomer it as selling out, but what I think really is going on is they just feel kind of betrayed because, like, suddenly their views and their input on this person's content isn't enough anymore.
I see what you're saying. I think, again, there's a bit of degree to this. Because if you just advertise, that's not a big deal. Advertisements get people money, that's fine. And then there's the level you're talking about, which is the obnoxious level of there's just too much advertisement. Even if you're not selling something, it feels like you're too corporate. And I think
maybe
that's
people
slightly different from selling out. I think, and selling out in the classical definition of you compromise what you're doing for money. In the sense that if you make jokes about politics, you pull your punches because someone's paying you to. I think that's selling out.
Maybe people just, maybe you just get played out and you're just beating the same horse.
Too, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is hard to, like, continuously do the same thing because, like, what we've talked about with YouTube and why Steve deletes all his old videos.
I want to do that too, but there's just like I really do, because I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well, no, like, what happens is people see your stuff, and honestly, most of the time it is your old stuff as how people first find you. People see your things, and then they, like, watch some more of your old stuff, and that's the reason they subscribe to you. And then they start watching your new stuff, and suddenly it's not the same, and they want you to go back to the old stuff. But you're a person, and a lot of what you're doing online is arguably artistic expression. So it's really hard to continue to do artistic things without moving forward. Just like, you can't reinvent the wheel every single time. Sometimes you gotta make something else.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's the whole idea.
That's a very crappy system.
That is, like, that's what's playing out. Like, every artist knows, like I'm making the same thing over and over again. I want to try something new. But the audience you've garnered only wants that one thing. The audience doesn't know what it wants. It only wants that one thing. And if you try to give them something else, the simple-minded ones rebel and say, fuck you, you're not the same guy that I fell in love with, technically. And I'm like, yeah, I like to do. Like, this is fun for me, Yeah,
yeah. And here's where I think the distinction between, or arguably the distinction between internet fame and proper fame, if you will, comes in, because certainly there are artists and actors and musicians and blah 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 that we want is the same thing from them over and over again. But with the majority of them, we don't expect the same thing. It's honestly a point of criticism if they continue to produce the same thing over and over and over again. And we harp on people that are proper famous for doing the same thing. Like Mark Hamill, back in the 70s, he played Luke Skywalker, or 70s and 80s, he played Luke Skywalker, and then when Star Wars was over, he couldn't get a role besides a Luke Skywalker type role, and he didn't want to do that anymore because he didn't want to be typecast, and so he did something completely different. That's why we got Mark Hamill's Joker.
Yeah, that's the thing. Being typecast, like, some people say that's the best thing ever because you're always employed, or it's the worst thing ever because you're never able to do anything of edge. You're never able to grow. Like, what's his name?
This is what the movie Birdman is about on one level or another.
Oh, definitely. I want to watch Birdman so badly. Oh, God, I want to see Birdman.
I mean, like, Michael Keaton is the perfect person to play that kind of role, too, because he's fucking Batman.
Batman.
Well, the thing with Michael Keaton in that movie is that he takes too many pot shots at just superhero genre and criticism, so it's not as good as you'd think it would be.
Well, no, I'm not worried about that. I'm just saying the concept of it is really well.
Yeah, the premise is nice if they just ran with it a little bit more.
Yeah, fair enough. I don't want to review Birdman because, one, I haven't seen the fucking movie.
It's okay.
Me too.
It's not great. It's okay.
Well,
Anyway, no, I'm just
Batman kind of killed Michael Keaton. I mean, he's a great actor. He's incredibly fun on screen. He's got a persona. He's got a great, feel to him. But like, whenever you see him in a movie, you just fucking Michael Keaton. Good for you, son. You got a role. And like, that's the thing. Playing these large mythic characters like Batman, Superman, like the Superman curse. Anyone who's ever played Superman, their career is dead afterwards. Apparently.
I don't know if that's true.
Well, I guess,
Well, it's because most of them have died.
Yeah.
Or become paralyzed right after.
I mean, arguably, Brandon Routh's career got started after he played Superman.
I suppose so.
He's Father of Superman actors. I should put that on a T-shirt.
Oh, he's the Atom now, apparently, on Flash.
Yeah, he might get his own spin-off, so...
Oh, neat.
Okay.
Neat.
No, but like I was saying, we don't expect that. We used to, like, a while ago, back in the 50s and beforehand, once you had a shtick, once you were famous for it, that's just the thing you did. You just kept making the same song if you were famous. Like, honestly, like, if you broke into the top 100 from, like, if you were a no-name... Mike. If you were a no-name artist and you broke into the top 100, your next song, your follow-up song, is gonna sound exactly like your last song. That's all that, like, every single studio is gonna tell you to do is so you have this kind of, like, brand. This is you. This is what you sound like. This is how we want people to know you. We don't fucking do that anymore. Well, no, we do with pop music, but we don't fucking do that with the majority of our things anymore. Daniel Radcliffe makes the fucking Harry Potter movies, and what's the first thing he does after that? How to get famous in show business without really trying.
I see
which is a very cynical movie.
Hamill, when you had that example, was the wrong person to choose. Because after he did Luke Skywalker, he's done nothing but the Joker.
Well, yeah, but still, after Luke Skywalker, no one wanted to hire him for anything that wasn't Luke Skywalker, and then he did something
for anything except the Joker.
Well,
Yeah.
except for Luke Skywalker. But
Luke Skywalker and the Joker, yeah, that's his defining career.
well, no, I'm just saying, like, the Joker, like, he could have gone somewhere else after that, but the point I'm making is he did something completely different, and we applaud him for that.
Definitely.
Now, he didn't do something completely different again, but, whatever.
Dude, the thing
I'm not sure if you can applaud him, though, if he gets stuck in a rut after doing something completely different, where his just doing completely different kind of backfired and put him in a typecast role forever.
Well, the thing is,
Well,
once you get, like,
fair enough.
it's mostly, like, has to do with...
Not true, because if you've ever seen Comic Book the movie, it's the role he prepared for 40 years to
I've
do.
seen that movie, but that's one role out of his hundreds that are just Luke Skywalker and the Joker.
The thing is...
I get that, but the point I was making was just ended at the Joker, okay? I'm not trying to talk about his career after that point. I'm talking about just from what he did to untypecast himself from the Luke Skywalker role. I'm not going to argue with it. Yeah, he fucking played the Joker and everything else. I just got done watching the 8th season of Criminal Minds, and he's a fucking serial killer. Big fucking surprise there. Yeah, but no, totally. I agree he did get typecast again, but that's a pretty big 180 of a typecast, you've got to admit.
That's true.
But a typecast is still a typecast, all I'm saying.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's so weird, because I don't really have the same venom that Steve has, Luke Skywalker, what's his name?
Mark Hamill.
That's the one.
No, I like
love Mark
Hamill. I'm just saying.
I love Mark Hamill. Like, that's the thing, when you can see a person with genuine talent, like, to get back to the internet celebrity thing, like the Nostalgia Critic, Angry Video Game Nerd, like, these guys have talent. They have the potential to become something really big and do a lot of varied, wonderful things. But the main thing about all this shit is, like, if you want to make shit, you gotta have the money to do it. And the thing is, once you get a certain audience and you get a certain level of income from that audience, like, it's really, like we've talked about in the last video about the Nostalgia Critic. He tried something different, he ended the character, and nobody gave a shit after anything he did afterward. And so he had to come back to do the Nostalgia Critic stuff. And when he did...
And he completely changed the format.
He changed the format. It's completely different, and it's better, I think. It's a little bit more genuine, and like it's still a nostalgia critic. He's still it's not as restrictive as it once was. He's not the monkey anymore. He can do whatever he wants. But the thing is, like, would you watch a movie directed by Doug Walker, and you know who he was?
No, because I've seen his movies. They're not very... I've seen movie of his.
Well, what if it's like a budget movie, like a budget, you know...
Well, it wasn't the budget that was the problem. Like, I'm used to low-budget movies. I've made low-budget movies.
Plug.
Yeah, because I've never talked about that before. It's not like the main video on my channel.
Never.
Actually, you know what? Doesn't even matter, because you can't even fucking download Ian and Bobby's Epic Quest to Rent a Movie anymore, because it's been pulled from Pirate Bay, so there.
Why?
Well, Pirate Bay's been pulled from the internet, so there.
For now.
Really? For now.
Yeah, you didn't hear about this? Yeah, Pirate Bay got shut down for now. It's funny because, like, the cops that did it are like, oh, we've struck a major blow against piracy. Look, it's already gone down 11% in just one day. And so it went from, like, 101 million known pirates, or known cases of piracy in one day, down to, like, 97 million in one day. And 2 days later, back to 101 million.
You take down Pirate Bay, we'll go to Kick-Ass Torrents. Take out Kick-Ass Torrents, we'll go back to Pirate Bay. It's a cycle.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, you know, you don't fuck around with the pirates. The thing with, you don't need a big old ship anymore. All you gotta need is a computer, like a hard drive, and a hacker.
Milan, I think you're confusing a term here.
Really? Like, don't pirates make bombs and rob banks or something, or is it just me?
No.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. No, but like, shit, what were we talking about? Fuck. Steve! Save us.
Okay, so saving us. So to get back on point about giving some of these people's budgets and whether or not their fame would last out of that, it's a case-by-case basis again. And so if Doug Walker ever made a movie, I wouldn't see it just because I don't like his work. That's not to say he couldn't do it. If Linkara made a movie, I would probably watch it because I enjoy his work.
Why?
Because I enjoy his work more, and that's the point.
How? Like, explain to me how.
I'm not being like serious. I just mean for example. I don't like Linkara. I'm just saying that's as an example.
No, but you don't like Linkara, or do you like him?
No, I don't like Linkara that much. He kind of went downhill. But no, just as an example, if I like Doug Walker, then I would watch his movie and not Linkara's, or vice versa, or whatever. So whatever you give these people, they're still just people who got famous and can only do a certain amount of stuff with that. And they could build their audience. If you gave them a budget and you gave them a studio and they made a movie that has nothing to do with what they do on the internet, they could potentially do something else and get famous off that. But it's breaking the typecasting mold, and it's hard to do that with certain people over others. And I think this is the main part where internet fame and regular fame diverge of, if you're internet famous, you can't break character.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen anyone break character on the internet and survive?
Doug Walker does it. Like, he does those,
No, but we just talked about the fact that he retired the Nostalgia Critic and he couldn't. He had to come back and do that.
Yeah, because his website almost failed after doing that. So, he does other stuff, but he's always done other stuff, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah, you can't escape what your formula is, in certain sense. And I don't mean like you can't adapt it, but if Confused Matthew woke up tomorrow morning and said, you know what, I'm going to do critical analysis of movies where I don't recap the entire story and they're not scripted, no one's going to watch it.
Yeah, probably.
Which is good.
That's what I was getting
watch
at.
Confused Matthew. He's an idiot, but still.
Really?
Okay.
Why?
Okay, Steve.
No. I'm fascinated by this. Confused Matthew? Like, I know him. Like, why do you think he's an idiot?
Have you
Explain. Yes, I know.
For Incredible Hulk being a bad movie is that he doesn't like the Hulk.
Really?
That's his entire argument. His entire argument for why he doesn't like the Avengers is he doesn't like superhero movies.
Okay.
That's a valid argument.
Idiot, man. He doesn't know what subtlety is. He doesn't know what themes are. He doesn't know how to look anywhere except the surface.
But then why do you hang out with me?
Because you don't pretend that you're smarter than everyone else.
I like you, Steve, you motherfucker. Fucking Ian, you get to admit that was a good one.
Oh, it was. I've been waiting for Steve to insult Milan, and come on, you gotta pick up sooner than that.
Oh, you're officially a geeky gentleman now. You've got your insult to Milan cherry popped. Fuck you. I love you, Steve. Jesus. I'm gonna mute the mic for a minute. Jesus.
Anyway, no, it's we were talking about that though. With we expect our proper celebrities to change and evolve, and if they don't, then they either fall by the wayside, or if they remain famous for whatever reason, we criticize the fuck out of them for it. Like Tim Burton, Michael Bay.
Yeah, Tim Burton, Michael Bay. Christopher Nolan gets criticized for being too much of the same over and over again.
Yeah, fair enough. Everyone hops on someone if they don't, change up their style or do something different every now and again. And to be fair, occasionally they do. Those movies tend to just get ignored. With Tim Burton, for example, people are usually surprised when I tell them that Big Fish is a Tim Burton movie because it looks nothing like all of his other movies.
Have you seen Big Eyes?
No, I have not.
Okay, because that's the other one. Big Eyes, Ed Wood, and Big Fish are his 3 non-Tim Burton movies.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, he's doing it for the studio, but
right.
you look at those and it's okay, so obviously he can, but those don't get any attention, so he's still doing his Tim Burton thing, and we criticize him for that.
Yeah, but the thing is, he does things like Big Fish. You guys were...
Yeah, we just mentioned that, Milan.
Sorry, my little brother was yelling at me and how I have no life. You suck, Vicky.
Anyway, so you look at Tim Burton and we criticize him for being too much of the same every time we see him, and that's a fair criticism. But we don't hold internet people, that's internet people, they're a different breed. We don't hold internet celebrities to that standard. If they do something different, we get upset. Nostalgia Critic made a joke about it in one of his early episodes after the return, where, he moved the whole thing into a proper studio to shoot it and everything, and the wall behind him is now slightly bluish, as opposed to, the yellowish that it was when he was shooting in his basement. And
he was shooting it in his basement? What?
When it was the older episodes and everything was all in his basement. 2 to 3 episodes in, people in the comments are going oh man, I miss the old wall. This new wall isn't as good. And he makes a joke where he's God, can you believe that they're even focusing on this? It's if people were focusing on the wall behind me as opposed to what I'm saying, and they lifted the comments up from the bottom of the screen. And he looks at it, he's really, guys? Really? And he spends a 2-minute bit once he gets back from a commercial break, changing the wall behind him and having people criticize the wall even more. It's fine, let's go with the fucking blue wall again. And I like that bit. It was very fucking meta, and it's a good take on everything. So even the slightest change is picked apart by people on the internet, because everyone gets to have their... Actually, I think I just brought us full circle. Everyone gets to have their 2 cents on the internet. And that's the problem, is everyone gets to throw in their 2 cents and create their content, and the people in the comments get to throw in their 2 cents on that content, so that it's never able to evolve and change, because you're always trying to please other people. Whereas with television shows, with movies and stuff, you are, in the end, trying to please the people, but you're allowed to make your thing all the way through before that happens. With the internet, it's always very periodic updates, very periodic, regular updates, whereas with movies and television shows, there are long breaks in between making it and sending it out and getting feedback from people.
And
it's not as immediate.
And the other big difference that you just alluded to there is, if you work in television or if you work in film, then you're the people that are deciding what everyone's taste should be. So when you release a film, when you release a TV show, and you talk about certain genres doing better than others, it's because of what you're releasing is changing people's minds, and it's allowing people to grow. Whereas the internet doesn't have that ability. The internet doesn't have the ability to make people any different or to make or to dictate what people's tastes are.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's just like it's a beast. It just it's a beast of perpetual motion. It just feeds upon itself.
It's a giant, horrible Mobius loop of benign bullshit.
Yeah, it's a snake eating its own tail. It just keeps going and going and It's the fucking Energizer Bunny, man. I don't know if these metaphors are working for me or not, but it's getting somewhere, man. I feel like I'm high. I promise I'm not. You have this system.
You're getting a contact high from me off the internet.
Yeah, you have this system where the creator isn't able to take time and take risks with their creation without immediately getting slammed for it. And they're afraid to do that because the people that will get slammed for it base their entire career off of it, and they're not making enough money to take those kind of risks.
Yeah.
They're making just enough.
Dude, we just finished the video.
Yeah, I think we just did.
Oh my god.
Steve, what are we talking about next week?
Okay, so next week's review topic, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so this is something I watched today, and I think it just started streaming, and you can get the DVD in a couple weeks, but it started streaming about a week ago, and I finished reading the comics as well, and I think this would be fun to talk about. It's pretty recent. It'd be a good way to segue back into just normal fun topics of discussion and review. Next time we're going to review Justice League Throne of Atlantis.
Okay, I better watch Justice League War, too, just so I can prepare my anus.
Would you like to borrow some lube?
Probably.
Yeah.
So everyone, thank you for listening. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm the Politician.
And I am the Madman.
And we are your geeky gentlemen, and we will be discussing things. And this show is changing and evolving because no one's fucking watching it.